and girls. Welcome to Tennessee's at-home learning series for literacy. Today's lesson is for all our first graders out there, though all children are welcome to tune in and enjoy today's story. This lesson is the first in this week's series. My name is Miss Clark, and I'm a first grade teacher in Tennessee schools. And I'm so excited to be your teacher for this lesson. Welcome to our virtual classroom, boys and girls. Now, if you didn't see any of our previous lessons, you can find them online at www.tn.gov/education. You can still tune in on today's lesson, but you might want to first go back and watch the others, since today we're going to be talking about a few things that we already learned previously. But no problem if not, you definitely can enjoy today's story. Now today, we're going to be learning about how myths can try to explain why things happen in nature. And before we get started, to participate fully, you're going to need a few things. You're going to need a piece of paper, a pencil, and a surface to write on. Now, boys and girls, before we get into our new text, let's take a minute to look back and think about what we learned in our previous lesson. Some of you chose to write about why we needed the sun, didn't you? And there were several things we talked about, right? We talked about how plants need the light from the sun to grow, and plants need the light to be able to eat and be able to breathe, right? So we need to be able to eat the plants, and the plants help us by giving us oxygen to breathe, right? And we learn that we get heat from the sun, right, boys and girls? And the sun warms the earth and the air. And that helps us to stay warm, doesn't it? And the plants grow better when it's warm. And I know you guys did a great job including all those important details, that information. Now, remember our son was a nonfiction book, wasn't it? And we knew that it gave us true facts and information, right? And you guys use that in your writing. Now, before, we also read about Hercules, didn't we, in a previous lesson? Did this one give us true facts and information? No, it did not, did it? It's fiction. It was a story about imaginary people and events, wasn't it? And it was a myth, right? And boys and girls, do you remember what we said about the characters in a myth? Yeah, some of them have extraordinary powers, don't they? Or abilities. We know Hercules definitely had that, didn't he? You remember it. You guys are awesome. Now, the story we're going to read today, boys and girls, is also a myth. So, boys and girls, is it going to give us true facts and information? Or is it going to be, not real information or imaginary people like Hercules? Yep, that is right. We're going to be learning about imaginary people and events. So we're going to hear a fiction story today. Now, this myth, boys and girls, is a little different than Hercules. There are no super strong characters like Hercules in this story, but they will be able to do things ordinary people definitely cannot. So you listen to find out what that is, okay? And another special thing about myths is they oftentimes take place before real history begins and explains how something in nature works or came to be. And that is going to be the case for this particular myth. Now, as we read, let's pay close attention to what part of nature the myth explains. Now, while you guys are listening for that, we are going to pay special attention to both the words the author wrote and the pictures or the illustrations that we see. Okay, now we know in some books we can rely mainly on the words, can't we, boys and girls? But in other books, we know the pictures or the illustrations give us so many more great details to help us better understand the story, right? So today, that is our goal, to understand how myths can be used to explain things and why things in nature came to be. We will begin today with me showing you what that looks like. And then there'll be some time for you to practice with me. And then finally, you guys are going to do some more of that awesome independent work after the video ends today. Very nice. Now, boys and girls, before we start, there are going to be a couple of words that you're going to hear. Okay? You're going to hear that a year is 12 months or 365 days. You guys all have a birthday once a year, don't you? And you're going to hear half of a year is 6 months. So when we take something, if you can picture a nice apple and you cut it into half, into 2 equal parts, a month is usually 30 or 31 days, depending on which month. We just finished the month of March, didn't we? And we are in the month of April right now. And next month will be what, boys and girls? Everybody share it out with me. 1, 2, 3. May. Wonderful. So you keep those thoughts in your brain. They're going to help us as we understand today's story. Here we go. Now, our story or myth today is called Demeter and Persephone, retold by Catherine Odell and illustrated by Katrina Chapman. Now, that's a very funny name for a story, isn't it? Demeter and Persephone. These are the names of the 2 characters you see on the cover, boys and girls. And I think they're beautiful names. So let's say them together. All right, whisper the first one into your hand. 1, 2, 3. Demeter. Good. And everybody tell me the last one on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Persephone. Great. Now you listen for these names as we read. You're going to learn more about them in the story. Demeter cared for or took care of all the plants and flowers in the fields. She made them grow all year. Demeter had a daughter who was named Persephone. There she is. Demeter loved her daughter as much as she loved the earth. So we just learned about our 2 characters, didn't we, on the cover? Now look at this picture closely. Where are Demeter and Persephone? Does it look like a nice place to be? Give me a thumbs up if you would like to be here. Me too. It looks like a wonderful place. Yeah, they're on a hillside overlooking some trees and some fields. And it looks like they might have plants growing, right? Look over there. I see the sun helping to make the plants what? Grow. Yeah, we learned about that in our previous lesson, didn't we? Let's keep reading, find out what happens. One day, Persephone was walking in the fields. She loved the earth as much as her mother did. How does Persephone look in this illustration, boys and girls? Yeah, she looks happy. She's out walking in the fields. So the text is telling us that she loves the earth about as much as her mother Demeter, huh? Oh, everybody point to what you see in the picture. Do you see maybe some new characters? Wonderful job, boys and girls. I see them too. A man. I also see another lady in a blue dress. Wonder who they could be. Hades saw Persephone and thought she was beautiful. He took her away to his home underground. Wonder what's going to happen next, boys and girls. What might be different about his underground home than what she is used to? Let's keep reading, but pay attention to see if you can answer that question in a little bit. Demeter could not find her daughter. She was too sad to take care of the plants and the flowers, and she could not make them grow. The earth was cold and dark. Boys and girls, look at what happened outside. Point to something you notice. That's right. Wow, that is very different, right? I don't see a garden. The trees have lost their leaves. The fields have dried up. And boys and girls, point to the sun. Yeah, I agree. I do not see the sun. Look at the difference, boys and girls. Yeah, so we know that something bad has happened, huh? What else do you see? I see the girl is also showing Demeter where he took her. She is holding the door open to the underground home. Let's look and see what happens with that. What do you think is going to happen? Can you predict? Go ahead and turn and talk with the person you're watching with today. Then, one day, a girl told Demeter, Hades took Persephone away. So she is telling her, right? That's why she's in this illustration. Do you see anything else? Me too. I see the faces of the girl and Demeter. How do you think Demeter is feeling right now, based on what you see? Yeah, she's looking angry, isn't she? And the girl looks like she might feel bad for not telling Demeter earlier. Right? She's thinking she's angry with her. Oh, goodness, boys and girls. What do you see here? There's Persephone. She's sitting at the table. Looks like there's a lot of food. What do you think Demeter wants from Hades? Yeah, I bet she's going to ask him to let Persephone go, don't you? And maybe the man's thinking about it. Looks like he is. Now let's read and see what else we learned. Demeter went underground. She saw Hades and Persephone. Please let me take my daughter home, Hades said. If Persephone did not eat any of my food, you can have her. If she did, I will keep her. Oh, goodness. Demeter is asking, isn't she? We're right. Demeter is asking Hades to let her take her daughter home. And he is not wanting to, is he? Let's see what happens here. Do you think she ate any of the food? Looks like there's a lot of good food on the table. point to something that you might want to grab up for a snack. You're sitting there just like Persephone. Oh goodness, maybe the apple? Yeah. Let's read and find out if Persephone will be able to go home with her mom or not. Oh goodness. Demeter looked at her daughter. Persephone was scared. I want to go home, but I did eat some seeds, she said. Demeter said, Persephone didn't eat much. Please let me take her. She did not eat much, but she did eat. She can live half of the year with you, but she must live the other half with me. Oh my goodness. Point to Persephone. What do you notice she has in her hand, boys and girls? Yes, that's right, those seeds. So we know Demeter is feeling really upset, isn't she? And she's scared, isn't she? Look at her expression in the illustrations. That can give me lots of good information, can't it? So let's read on to find out what happens. Now, every year, Persephone lives underground for 6 months. Yeah, we heard Miss Clark telling you about 6 months to be listening for that, didn't we? We know that's half a year. Uh-oh. What do you think's happened here? Are they compromised? Demeter wanted her daughter to come, but the king said what? She can live half the time with you and half the time with me. Uh-oh. So now every year Persephone lives underground for 6 months. And Demeter is sad. And she doesn't care for the plants and the flowers. And the earth is cold and dark. Oh my goodness, boys and girls. So I want you to think about that. Every year Persephone is living underground for 6 months. And look at Demeter, point to her. We know that when Persephone is gone, she is sad, isn't she? And we notice, what about the fields and the trees and the gardens? What about the sun? That's right. Let's keep on. And then Persephone lives with her mother for the other 6 months. And Demeter is happy, and she cares for the plants and the flowers, and the earth is warm and colorful again. Oh, boys and girls, look at the illustrations. Are you noticing something different about the seasons or the nature outside? Yeah. If you could describe this picture, what would you describe it as being? Maybe winter? Fall? Or summer? Yeah, or spring. It is warm and colorful, and if it's colorful, we would see lots of colors outside, lots of new things growing. Very good, boys and girls. So I think the text says that something a little bit deeper here, isn't it? I think we need to think a little more about what this means in order to understand what this myth is trying to say. Now, our goal today, boys and girls, was to understand how myths can be used to explain why things in nature came to be. Now, let's think about what this myth attempts or tries to explain to us. What happened to Demeter and Persephone that explains why this happens in nature. Yeah, when we look at this page, we notice the illustrator included 4 separate pictures. Now let's take a closer look at each of the pictures. I wonder why there are 4. What do we notice about the characters and the illustrations in the background? Yeah, I noticed that the leaves are falling and they're changing colors like red and yellow and orange. That's interesting. And what have we noticed about the other image? Persephone's not there, is she? And she is looking very sad. What do we notice about the setting? That's right, boys and girls. The leaves are all gone off the trees, right? Look at this one. They have completely fallen off the trees. And we don't see the red and orange and green anymore, do we? Very nice. And what about this, boys and girls, illustration? Do we notice that Persephone is finally getting to come back home and Demeter is holding out her arms and she's happy again? And there are leaves popping up back onto the trees. They're blooming. And there's grass instead of snow. There's even flowers, right? What does this picture remind you of? What time of year? Maybe whisper into your hand. 1, 2, 3. Very nice. Spring, that's what I was thinking. Now, what about this one, boys and girls? I noticed that Persephone and Demeter are together and they're hugging. They're both really happy, huh? What do you notice about the setting? That's right. There are lots of green leaves on the trees and grass and flowers. Yeah, I can have a connection to this time of year too. When all the leaves are green and all the grass is green, it makes me super happy. Now let's look at all 4 together again. Why do you think the illustrator included 4 different pictures on the same page? Oh, are you thinking what I'm thinking? Yes. The settings are looking different and they're changing each time, right? And they're reminding me of the 4 seasons. Is this what you were thinking? Did you figure it out before I did? You guys are awesome. So boys and girls, I want you to point to the picture that you think might be representing fall. Very nice. Yeah, I agree. The one that has the leaves changing and they're falling to the ground, right? What about the season that is winter? Go ahead and point to this season, boys and girls. Very nice. Yeah, I agree. In the winter, there are no more leaves, green grass. Everything has died, right? Now, what about the season of spring? Maybe this is some of your favorite seasons, right? Spring, when everything's starting to bloom and we see those beautiful buds on the trees. And boys and girls, point to the season that you think might be representing summer. Very nice. We see all that green grass and those full green trees that tell me summer is happening, right? Very nice, boys and girls. You guys did such a great job with that. Now, before we do our independent work, I want you to remind me of one more thing. Notice the difference in these pictures. Now, we notice that Demeter is sad for half of the year, right? When she stops caring for the plants and the flowers. And the earth is cold and dark. And when she is happy the other half of the year, yeah, the earth is warm and colorful again. That was a great text, boys and girls. Wow. And we learned so much information, didn't we? You guys are rock stars. Now, today, our goal is to understand how myths can be used to explain why things in nature came to be. Just like today, we heard a fun story explaining how the 4 seasons came to be, right? And that was a super fun story. I loved it. Now, boys and girls, I want you to do 2 things for me today. First, I want you to draw 2 pictures. Draw one that represents the picture that shows what the earth looks like when Persephone is living with Demeter. And Demeter is happy. And I want you to draw another picture that shows what the earth looks like when Persephone is not living with Demeter. And I want you to include Demeter in each of your illustrations and even add details and draw how she's feeling in each. And don't forget to write at least 2 sentences for each drawing that describes your illustration, and include 1 sentence that describes how the characters are feeling and why. And another sentence that is talking about the setting, boys and girls, and all those details about your setting. Boys and girls, you guys did a great job, and I cannot wait to see all that wonderful writing. And here are some words I want you to make sure you add in to your writings. Make strong, nice, complete sentences. You might use the word colorful, underground, spring. Boys and girls, you guys were rock stars today, and you did a wonderful job. I'm so proud of each one of you, and I cannot wait to work with you again. Thank you for inviting me into your home, and I look forward to seeing you in our next lesson in Tennessee's At Home Learning Series. Have a great day, boys and girls.
Who's that baby? Say hi. Who's that baby? Can you see that baby? Hi. I love Jays. I love Jays. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. I love to hug and kiss you. I love Jays. I love Jays. Oh, look at that long tongue. What are you doing with that tongue? I see it. I see it. I'm going to get it. I'm going to get it. What you doing? What you doing? Can we see your eyes? Look at those pretty eyes. Look at those pretty, and these cheeks. I want these cheeks. I love you.